Imagine you're interviewing somebody, they're quote unquote cheating on the interview by using AI to get through the interview. And in some ways, I want you to give them a little bit of grace because isn't that fair? Welcome to Executive Coaching in the AI Era, the place where you get real, no fluff, proven processes for navigating the chaotic, ever-changing corporate world. I'm Stacy Mayer, executive coach, promotion strategist, and best-selling author. For the past decade, I've been helping senior leaders like you make the intangible process of getting to the leadership table tangible, even during layoffs, economic downturns, and AI disruption. Let's go. Hello, corporate badasses. Welcome to another episode of Executive Coaching in the AI Era. I am your host, Stacy Mayer, and super excited, as always, to be here with you again this week. Today's episode is going to be all about hiring best practices. So essentially, if you're an executive leader and you're trying to build your team and you're coming up against some hurdles, some roadblocks that seem to be a little bit unique to AI and this new AI era that we're living in, you are absolutely 150% not alone. Now, the first thing I want to point out about this week's episode is the irony of it. So one of the really big things that I've noticed about the AI era is how much unemployment is happening. Now, this isn't new. We go through waves, ebbs, and flows of unemployment. But I think that what is new is ever since the dot-com boom and the explosion and the downfall of the dot-com era, we haven't really seen in software companies such an uptick of unemployment. We also haven't seen such an uptick of unemployment in healthcare industries, but now we are seeing both all the time. But at the same time, in these very exact same industries, I'm also seeing hiring challenges. So I'm seeing my clients inside of my leadership table mastermind and my one-on-one coaching programs come up against these hurdles time and time again, that they have open job recs that they're unable to fill. So I want you to think about that for a second. The first thing is you might see on the news, on LinkedIn, how much is happening in terms of unemployment. You might get so tired of seeing all of your colleagues with the open to work sign. You might also be tired of seeing your own colleagues in your own organization get laid off overnight. And this is something that we're being inundated with on a regular basis. But I want to remind you at the same time, you're also seeing, I started a new position, or congratulations, I'm now hiring. If anybody knows someone, send them my way. And I see those types of job notifications and announcements just as frequently as I see the conversations around massive layoffs. But our brain sees whatever the heck it wants to see. It is going to go towards the most negative, biased thing that is right in front of us. And I want to remind you that there are so many positions opening up and so many incredible corporate leaders, like the women that I work with every single day, who are hiring. We are looking for people just like you. So I encourage you, if you're on the job search, not to give up, especially during the summer and you're looking at some July downtime. But I tell you, those opportunities are available for you and people are hiring even in the month of July. This is why I created the Summer of Magic, is because so many opportunities are being formed right now and they're available to you. So I encourage you to lean in, go back, binge some of my old podcast episodes, interview best practices, whatever you need to do to get yourself set up and ready. But today's episode is really focused on the other side. So for those women who are actually hiring for positions, and what are some of the things and the trends that I'm noticing that are making it a lot more difficult to hire because of the AI era specifically. And there are three main focuses of today's episode, and I might not be able to give each one of them justice. Hopefully I can. But I want you to think about why you're unable to hire for these positions. And it can be incredibly frustrating to not be able to find the right candidates when you know that there are so many unemployed people hungry and ready to get started. Yet you keep seeing the wrong people, or perhaps you're coming up against one of these three problems that I'm going to present to you in today's episode. So the first problem I want to talk about is AI cheating. This is a real problem, and especially if you're hiring someone for your team who is an individual contributor, it is incredibly easy to use AI to solve your problems, like literally in real time. People will have multiple screens open. They will ask AI for the answer. They'll pause. They'll say, let me think about it for a minute. But what they're really doing is typing it into the computer and figuring out the perfect answer to spit back out at you. Now, this in and of itself is not necessarily a problem. A lot of job opportunities, especially for individual contributor roles, have like a 60% AI fluency requirement as part of that job. So imagine you're interviewing somebody, they're quote unquote cheating on the interview by using AI to get through the interview. And in some ways, I want you to give them a little bit of grace, because isn't that fair? You're going to bring them on. Your CEO is going to demand that they use a shit ton of tokens, and you don't want them to quote unquote cheat on their interview. So first words of advice, if you're coming across a bunch of people who are using AI in their actual interview process, give them a little bit of grace. But the thing that I want you to do and to notice is whether or not they're proactively lying to you. And are they actually trying to get away with something, or are they having a conversation with you about their leadership, about the decisions that they make, the way they view things? And then they're also very transparent that they're using AI to come up with some of the answers. If they're able to show that AI fluency and that transparency, they may actually be the perfect candidate for you. I want you to give it a little bit of grace. The other thing is I want to remind you is that not too long ago, we required in-person interviews for so many of the roles that we were hiring. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to bring everybody in person, but once you get to some of those final rounds of hiring, let them do whatever they're going to do in the interview process, but hold them accountable once you fly them out to headquarters, once you bring them into the office, whatever that might be, so that you can actually interview them in person. And guess what? When you start interviewing people in person, they're not going to be able to cheat. The first encouragement for you is not to use it as a black and white thinking when you're interviewing as part of the AI era and you get really frustrated because you think people are always cheating. It's not necessarily cheating unless they're lying about it and they seem like they're somebody that you can't trust once you actually get them on the job. And if you can get them in person, even better. The second thing that I notice is that a lot of women are resorting to hiring contractors instead of actually hiring for full-time roles. Now, if you're on the other side of this coin, the great news is a lot of people are hiring contractors instead of full-time roles. So I have a ton of clients that I'm working with right now where we're actually landing them contract gigs while they continue to search for their perfect executive leadership opportunity. There are so many opportunities for contract roles right now. But if you're somebody who is hiring and you're sort of saying, well, it'll just be easier and faster if I hire for a contract role, typically what's happening is you're not willing to put in the effort of letting them interview with other people at your organization. You're basically trying to do all the vetting yourself, and you don't have a ton of time to do it, and you don't want to go through this lengthy interview process. And let's say the demands right now, because of the AI era, are so high, things are happening so fast, things are in flux, and you don't know what's going to happen on the other side. So you resort to quick fixes by hiring contractors so that you can sort of figure them out as they go. And while in theory, this is a great idea, I just want you to be on to yourself and know exactly why specifically you're hiring a contractor for that role instead of just making it an automatic out of the gate full-time employment opportunity. And typically I see a couple things. It's really difficult to find a bunch of people at your organization to interview them. Maybe your team is already really lean and you have to make the final decision and you don't have time to go through multiple rounds. The other thing is that a lot of women in particular are actually enjoying these contract positions that are available to them. And so now maybe they don't want to become a full-time employee. And I encourage you to translate them into full-time employees at the point that you feel comfortable. Because the thing is, the misnomer is that, yes, you're trying them out. But the challenge becomes, for a lot of women in particular, it's really hard to fire people, like emotionally, because now you feel like you made a mistake. So even if they're a contractor, it can be incredibly difficult emotionally to fire somebody, to let that contractor go. I know so many clients that I'm begging them to let their contractors go, but it's easier to keep them than to figure out something. So if you're taking the easy road and you're hiring a contractor who, just because you don't have anybody better for the position, then there are other ways that you can go about the interview process to actually get the right people in the door out of the gate. Now, if you have somebody who is perfect for the opportunity, who you're like, okay, I'm going to bring them in for 2 months. I think they're absolutely perfect and they're a best fit, but because HR is moving so slow, I just want to bring them in as a contractor. I'm going to immediately move them up to full-time employment. Great, go for it. Absolutely. That is a fantastic opportunity. But if you're just doing it because you're trying to shortcut the process and see like how quickly you can move on, or maybe you don't trust your own instincts and you just want to hire them as a contractor to kind of let yourself off the hook, I guarantee you're not actually letting yourself off the hook. So I encourage you to follow the same protocols of your full-time employment, even for contractors. And last but not least, the thing that I am seeing with a lot of clients is the inability to hire, right? So maybe you have hiring freezes at your organization. Maybe you're not able to hire right now. And the advice that I give to all of my clients who are in this unique position where you can't bring on the people that you want to be bringing on right now is to begin to find other opportunities to begin to elevate your role. So essentially, using my executive promotion process to get yourself out of the weeds, to be working towards your 3X vision, to understand how to manage your emotions around all the chaos so that you don't always just seem like the busy person, to be using 15-minute ally meetings, and then to begin executive communication skills so that you are operating fully at that next level of leadership. So even if you're at that director level and you just want to be operating like a senior director, but you can't build out your team, there are so many opportunities to begin to elevate the conversation so that it begins to become obvious that you need people on your team, regardless of if the organization has hiring freezes or not. There are so many companies who, right here in my backyard in Silicon Valley, had massive layoffs and are still hiring for their individual departments. So if you have an individual need, there are oftentimes opportunities to actually hire for those roles. But we're so overwhelmed, we're so distraught, we're going to our bosses with not executive communication skills, but instead with overwhelm, busyness. God, you have to help me. You have to get me out of this rut. And guess what? If you're appearing overwhelmed, exhausted, the last thing your boss wants to do is give you a new direct report or go out on a limb to get you a direct report. So you have to pull yourself out of the weeds first and talk about prioritization and figure out what is the impact that you can make at that next level and begin to communicate that so that having a new direct report is simply inevitable. So those are the 3 things that I'm noticing for my clients right now when it comes to hiring practices, is getting really caught up in this idea of AI cheating, making sure that the person is a good fit and not just hiring contractors as a crutch, and then the inability to hire at all. If you have any questions about any of these areas and you're currently building your team, then I encourage you to schedule a free discovery call with me. I work with executive leaders every single day, one-on-one in executive coaching, using my exact methodology of my executive promotion process to not only become better leaders themselves, to become quote unquote better managers and more efficiently so that they're able to build their teams at a more rapid pace, but also to get themselves credit along the way. Because you can have the biggest, most badass team there is and still be operating 1 or 2 levels below your pay grade. You could still be operating at a level that is way lower than what you could be doing if you just apply some of the techniques that I teach clients every single day. So go to stacymayer.com/discovery. We'll have a chat and decide together if one-on-one coaching is right for you. You do not have to manage the AI era alone. Chaos is all around us, and no matter how great you are in a life of chaos, one of the things that my clients say time and time again is my only regret is that I wish I had started working with Stacy sooner. So if that's on your mind, go to stacymayer.com/discovery. We'll have a no obligation call and we'll figure out if I can help support you to build your corporate badass team. Thank you all so much for listening, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Before you go, if you have not yet subscribed to this podcast, do so now. If you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, go there at stacymayer.com/YouTube and subscribe today. And if you know a colleague, a friend, anyone who needs to hear this message, share this information with them now. Post it to your LinkedIn profile. We are navigating this AI era together, and I am thrilled to help you on this journey. If you want to work with me personally, I invite you to schedule a call with me at stacymayer.com/discovery, where we will map out a career strategy specifically tailored to you. Whether you've recently been laid off or you're just looking to navigate this chaotic landscape and you no longer want to do it alone, go to stacymayer.com/discovery and schedule your free call today.